Hello, I'm Joan Claire Graham, the Minnesota Memories Lady. I think your library has all 7 volumes of my Minnesota Memories books, true stories from all over the state. But today I'm going to read you a story from Volume 2, the pink volume. This story was written by Donald Matejcek of Owatonna. Don contributed quite a few stories to my Minnesota Memories series, but I think this one is my favorite. It's called Growing Up in an Owatonna Grocery Store by Donald Matejcek. My dad died when I was 5, so my mother had to find a way to raise my 3 older sisters and me in Owatonna. Within a year, she was able to buy a little corner grocery store located at Fremont and Grove. These family-run corner stores not only sold food to people in the neighborhood, but also provided them with a place to interact and exchange news about the world and their daily lives. Matejcek Grocery Store occupied a large room on the main floor of a very small house. Behind the store, our family occupied 1 bedroom, a living room, and a kitchen. The bathroom and another bedroom were upstairs. We kept excess stock on shelves and in the aisles in the basement, and 5 of us lived in the remaining space. I slept on the living room couch until we built a bedroom in the basement. About that same time, a lady who worked as a bank teller moved in to help with the store and with the family. This made the house even fuller, and with 5 women in the house, I was dead wrong 5 times before I even opened my mouth. Soon after we opened for business, my sister Marilyn, who is a year and a half older than I, was diagnosed with bulbar polio and confined to an iron lung at the Sister Kenny Hospital in Minneapolis. Fearing they would contract polio, customers stayed away from our store. A news reporter wrote an article dispelling fears and urging people to support my mother's only source of income during this difficult time. And the Knights of Columbus encouraged members to go out of their way to make purchases at our little store. Fortunately, both the store and Marilyn made it through this tough period. Working at the store was a fact of life that we did not question. Mom opened for business at 8 a.m. and closed at 8 p.m. 6 days a week. On Sundays, we all took a day off. After school, during summers, and on weekends, we kids pitched in. While my sisters worked behind the counter, I did what was considered boys' jobs. By the time I was 8, I kept the pop machine stocked and hauled canned and packaged goods to and from the basement storage area. After a heavy snow, I shoveled the roof so that ice dams didn't form. I helped clean the store and scraped wads of gum off the sidewalk out front. Because of all that scraping, I hate gum to this day. Our pop machine was a big chest that held ice. After putting a nickel in the slot, the buyer moved the Coke bottle along a track and through a little gate that the nickel unlocked. I had to keep pop and ice in that machine, and I had to drain and clean it. My worst experience came as a result of the delivery man's tendency to set pop cases out in the heat before loading bottles into that icy water. The temperature change sometimes caused the bottles to explode, and I had to clean up a terrible mess. I finally got smart and told the delivery man to let me load the bottles after they cooled down. The pop machine, ice cream freezer, meat cooler, and dairy case were the only cool places in the store during summer. A bell on the door jingled the arrival and departure of each customer, followed by the sound of the screen door slamming. A small fan helped keep the cashier comfortable during hot months. And of course, we were allowed to eat popsicles, fudgesicles, and push-ups, favorite summer treats. Most families in those days didn't buy large quantities of ice cream or pop because home refrigerators were quite small, with freezing compartments big enough to hold only a couple of trays of ice cubes and a quart of ice cream. Our ice cream freezer always contained a couple of big cardboard tubs of ice cream from the dairy. We packed ice cream into pint boxes for customers to take home and eat immediately. And we also served ice cream cones. My sister liked to fill a mixing bowl with ice cream, cover it with chocolate sauce, and eat it after closing time. Our friends envied the fact that we had access to treats whenever we wanted them, but those treats were the only payment we got for our work. I didn't earn any money until I got a paper route at age 10. Of course, I still had to go to school and work at the store. Though these responsibilities limited my free time, I was able to incorporate my professional responsibilities into my social life by supplying my friends with occasional cigarettes and cigars. Work and social life frequently overlapped. My mother was a popular confidant to many neighborhood housewives whose opportunities to get out of their houses were limited by the fact that they didn't have cars to use during the day. Most customers walked to our store and carried purchases home in paper bags. Mothers pushed baby strollers and small children rode tricycles. Since we were located near the outskirts of town, farmers sometimes stopped on their way out of town, which added to our mix of customers and the things they talked about. Although small, Matejcek Grocery was a full-service store that could supply customers with everything they needed. One popular product was meat for cold cuts. After a customer made a selection, the clerk hoisted a big chunk of turkey, beef loaf, or ham into the meat saw table and sliced a few pieces. We'd weigh the order, wrap the cuts in white paper, and tie the paper with a string. We got chops and other meat from a butcher shop down the street, and we sold a fair amount of ground beef. Children loved to stand before our glass candy case, where cardboard boxes displayed rows of licorice whips, Lick-O-Maid, Jawbreakers, double bubble gum, stick candy, caramels, malted milk balls, and kisses. Baseball cards and other kinds of trading cards came in a packet with a sheet of bubble gum. For a nickel, a kid could spend a lot of time looking, buy 5 pieces of candy, and carry home his treasure in a little brown paper bag. Another popular attraction was a gumball machine that dispensed occasional plastic charms and prizes along with the gum. I don't recall that we ever had any trouble. We never got robbed. Customers were courteous. By the mid-50s, however, large supermarkets started up, offering low prices and fancy displays. They lured customers with newspaper ads and specials. They offered carts to help shoppers gather large quantities of groceries, and carry-out boys who helped load purchases into customers' cars. It took a few years, but eventually customers began to prefer that kind of grocery shopping. Lifestyles changed too. Housewives gained mobility when their families bought second cars and freezers and big refrigerators. Customers used corner stores for convenience stops, for milk and bread, but did their big shopping elsewhere and bragged about the savings and convenience. Small neighborhood grocery stores, once the hub of neighborhood commerce and activity, fell on hard times. About this same time, our family workforce began to shrink. My oldest sister married a guy in the Air Force. After staying to help Mom in the store for about a year, she moved away to attend school. My second sister moved to the cities to work, and Marilyn got a job at the courthouse, and then she moved to Colorado. In 1961, the year I graduated from high school, Mom sold the stock and equipment and closed the store. Those old pop machines and Coke signs now sell for big bucks in antique shops, but I don't know what she got for them. Mom turned the area that had been the store into a bedroom and expanded the living room. With her family raised, Mom could now relax, but she could not retire. After working for a supermarket, she went to work at J.C. Press as a typesetter and assembler. There were a few things along the way that make you wonder how we made it through. Owatonna, a town of about 10,000, had many corner grocery stores like ours, but they are now rare. I still have those bells that hung over the door at Matejcek Grocery and jingled every time a customer walked in or out. And whenever I hear or see them, they bring back a flood of memories. I hope that story brought back a flood of memories for many of you.